Welcome to the Have You Met You podcast. I'm your host, Sasha Pearl, the energy architect, and I guide soul led women in building their authentic six-figure businesses while aligning their identity, purpose, and message with my highly potent method. So let's get into it. Today, we are going to go over everything generators. Today, we're going to be focusing on how generators build deeply satisfying businesses through what they love. And this is juicy, super, super, super juicy because generators are the juiciest of them all. You know what I mean? They are 70% of the population. So let me dive back into the high level. What is human design? So human design is the science of our aura. We're in constant interaction to everything all of the time and energy. Our auras are 7 feet in all directions of us, and we are in constant interaction with it because everything is energy, and that is just science. You know what I mean? So, with human design, it's taking in the Kabbalah, the I Ching, the chakra system, and astrology. So, when we put in our time of birth, our location of birth, and date of birth, it spits out a body graph chart for you. And this chart is the literal roadmap back to your soul. This chart shows you the purest form of who you are in the world. And it also, with the human design system, shows you how to come back into your authenticity, since we live in a world that we are conditioned to act a certain way and be a certain way for approval, for success, for love. And with human design, it's actually the truest form of love is loving ourselves, right? And so, how do we build businesses from our unique energy? Well, let's get into it. So, there are 5 different energy types in human design, and we all have our specific roles to play out. And this is where it gets really cool when you start building out your team and dynamics of a team using human design. So I'm going to quickly go over all of the types and then we'll hop into the generating type. So we have, first of all, I want to break it down into 2 sections. So we have the energy beings who have consistent access to their life force, their vitality, and energy in the world. They're generating energy constantly. And then we have the non-energy beings who have an open sacral. So we don't have consistent access to our energy. We have like bursts or we sample the environments that we are in. So for the energy beings, we have the generators and the manifesting generators, and they are about 70% of the population. And then we have the projectors, manifestors, and reflectors. So we have one, which are the energy beings, and secondly, the non energy beings. So today we're going to be going over the energy beings. So we have the generators and the manifesting generators, and their role is to build sustainably. The generators are, and to really light up the world with what they love doing. And then we have the manifestors who are here to inform and initiate new ways of being into the world. And then we have the projectors who are here to really see it deeply into the other person and create efficiencies and systems that help all of the generating types move more efficiently. And then we have the reflectors, and they're only 1% of the population, and they are really here to reflect back the environments in which we live, work, in all of the environments that we're in. So we're going to start off with the energy types, and then we're going to move into the non-energy types. So how do generators build a deeply satisfying business through what they love? So with any energy type, if you even stumble upon human design, the one thing that you just need to know is going to be your energy, your authority, and your strategy. Okay, those 3 things are going to change your life immensely, just knowing those basic things. And a lot of the content out there on human design is true energy types. Why? Because it's the easiest, most accessible thing to really understand quickly and to make really big shifts in your world and move forward, right? And then we get into the really nuance and all the gates and the channels and the profile lines and all of the other things. And it gets really nuanced, which we will get into that on this podcast because I'm obsessed with it. So when we think about the generator's aura, it is incredibly open and big and all enveloping. Like people want to be in your presence, especially if you are lit the fuck up by what you're building and putting out into the world. Okay. 120-degree day, like in Arizona, like, okay. And so when you keep saying yes to your actual yeses, that is where your aura keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you have the opportunity to start responding to people who are inviting you or bringing opportunities into your world. But the more that you say yes to your no's, that's when you start feeling overwhelmed, deeply frustrated. You're not understanding why things aren't working out because your aura is also starting to get smaller. You're not going to have as many invitations to come in or opportunities coming in when you are not setting the boundary of no. So the best thing you can do as a generator is say no. The generating types, because you have so consistent access to your energy, there is this like underlying fear of FOMO, fear of missing out. And yes, you have all the energy in the world to go do everything, but think about when you start utilizing your discernment and focusing on that one thing you want to build and master and craft, and it lights you the fuck up. That is going to be the thing that you are here to bring forth into the world, that you are here to create magic in the world. Okay. And so the generating types are just so juicy and so wonderful. And the downfall of them can absolutely be saying yes to literally everything. The more that you can actually say yes to the things that light you up, the more magnetic you are going to become and the more of your energetic authenticity will be at play here. So the more that you can move into your authenticity is when you get to access all these other gifts that you have. And that's something that we'll talk about later in the pod, but those are the gates and the channels of the world. So that is your energy type. You are literally here to live a deeply satisfying life that lights you the fuck up. Like when I come into contact with a generator who is in their power, in their magnetism, I'm just like, yes, please, more, 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 more. I want your energy. You're just like so inspiring to be around. So that's great, Sasha, but how do I get back to my unique authenticity, right? And so that is the energy type. You are here, your role is here to generate the world's energy by doing the things that light you up. A couple of things and get really, 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 really good at them. Okay. And so when we move into your signature self, which is your truest form of authenticity, it's all about satisfaction. So in any moment that you are in, how can you create deep satisfaction for your life? It can literally be, how can I feel deeply satisfied by eating this food? How can I be deeply satisfied by a task I don't want to do? If you can move into satisfaction in everything that you do, that is where the ripple effect, the domino effect of change really starts happening for you. And you're going to start really seeing the flow, the wealth, the opportunities just come to you, because there is no other form other than you being deeply satisfied by life that is going to shift anything. So the signature self is your truest form of authenticity. And then we have the not self. And the not self is where you are living from your conditioned beliefs, where you are in your shadows, your doubts, and your fears. So your not self is going to be frustration. So when you feel frustrated by something, that is literally your body telling you this is not authentic for you to be doing. Okay. And what I love to teach is 3 things you can do, right? Because when we think about the spectrum, we have deep satisfaction, or we have frustration on one end, and then we have deep satisfaction on the other end. If we think about it as just like a spectrum, right? In any moment, we can shift and choose to be deeply satisfied by something, right? We create our realities. So if we're feeling deeply frustrated by something, whether that's a relationship, a task, a friend, etc., ask yourself why. Dive deeper into what is actually the cause of the frustration, right? Because it could be micro, and that micro shift, we can tweak that into satisfaction. And if it's something bigger and larger scale, like you just do not resonate with the friend anymore, then you're going to have to either drop the friend, hang out with them less, or figure out different ways of connecting with them in a way that feels satisfying for you, or bringing it up to them, right? So when we think about, this is what I love about human design so much, is that it can be so fucking practical. How do we move ourselves from frustration into deep satisfaction? Okay. And so there's 3 things that you can do. You can delegate the task. So have someone else do that for you. You can not do the task at all. And thirdly, if you have to do the task and you don't have the means or resources to delegate it, then go put yourself into an environment that feels deeply satisfying. So like going to a coffee shop, or drinking your favorite tea, or having your favorite meal before you go do the thing you don't want to do, so you can get yourself into the mindset of satisfaction, right? Because that is where you're going to start reducing the amount of friction to really show up for the business, the career that you are building, right? So the more that you can move into satisfaction, the more opportunities are going to show up for you. The more wealth, the more ease, the more clarity is going to be there for you, which is fucking incredible, right? And whenever you are moving into frustration, write down that list that is causing frustration and keep asking yourself, okay, well, why does it feel frustrating here? But okay, then why does that feel frustrating here? And get to the root cause of the frustration. So then you can move it into satisfaction, because the key here is awareness of your body. Your body is attuned so deeply to everything, and it is literally the golden ticket to your success. So the more that we can take care of our body, the more that we can tap in, the more that we can access our intuitive knowing and our own authenticity, that is where everything changes. Point blank done. Okay. And so a practice for you could be, especially, and you can take this through every quadrant of your life: love, relationships, career, business, home, etc., anything really. And write down the list on one side. What is deeply satisfying about this section of my life? What is actually causing frustration in my life? And going around bringing, this a notebook or whatever throughout your week, and start writing down the moments that you feel frustrated by, like what is coming up for you, and getting really clear and really honest. And then it's looking at the task or the thing that caused frustration and ask, okay, what is one micro step to get you to satisfaction? And here's the thing, it doesn't even need to be all the way into satisfaction. You just need to meet neutrality, because neutrality is going to be where everything starts shifting for you. Okay. If we think about like above and below the line, right? Frustration's down here, and then satisfaction's up here. And so if we meet in neutrality, we're at least above the line here. Okay. So now that we know your energy type, we know that you're not self and your signature self, let's move into your authority. So your authority is how you make decisions, okay? And you're either going to be an emotional authority or a sacral authority. And we'll get into that here, and I will dive deeper into those authorities later on in the pod. But if you are a generating type, you can only have two options. You can be emotional or you can be sacral. And so let's talk about what the emotional authority is. So if you have emotional authority, your truth is never in the moment. Okay. It is so incredibly important for you to create space, at least 24 hours, and giving yourself space to sleep on the bigger decisions of life. Because when you're in your high, of course, you're going to say yes to everything. And then when you get to the event that you're supposed to go to, or that commitment that you made, you're going to be like, I don't fucking want to do it. And it's because now you're in your neutrality and you're like, oh, I actually never want to do that in the first place. So this is where overcommitment can happen, especially for the emotional authority. And then if you are making decisions from your low, like you're not going to be doing a lot because you just don't want to, right? So the more that you can actually access all the emotional waves that come through the first 24 hours of making the decision, if it's consistently in the yes and you still want to do it the next day, then go for it. And if it's in the no, then don't do it. But this is where the people pleasing comes in. Because you have the energy to do it, does that mean you have to do it? Because the more that you say yes to your yeses, the more aligned you are going to be. Yes to your no's, the further and further away, right? So if this mic is your authenticity, is your alignment, this is how far you're going to get from your alignment, right? And then the further away that you get, the more condensed and constricted that your energy and your aura is going to feel, right? So it's going to be removing the opportunities, that wealth and that flow and that ease that we all really want in our day to day. Obviously, this is something that changes every moment of every single day. But if we can be in the majority of satisfaction every day, why wouldn't we choose that? So with the emotional authority, there's also multiple different waves of the emotional wave. And that's something we'll get into later in a different podcast. But just knowing that you're an emotional authority, just know that your truth is not in the moment. So just say, hey, can I get back to you on that commitment? Hey, I'm going to go sleep on it and I'll get back to you. Right? Because the more that you can wait and really feel into all of the highs and lows throughout those 24 hours, you're really going to start to understand what is the correct decision for you. And then if you are a sacral authority, which means that you have a defined sacral center and you have an open emotional center, then that means that you are here to use your gut to make decisions. So you, as a generating type, do well with the yes or no questions, actually, because you get to use your gut and your decision making through your gut, right? So if I ask you, I'm like, do you want tacos tonight? And you're like, that's a no. or like, that's a no. If I'm like, do you want pizza tonight? Then you're like, yeah, that's a yes. Right. So you can literally see how your body is intuitively reacting to yes or no questions. And this is a practice. You don't have to make big decisions yet with your gut because it's not practiced yet and it's not intuitive for you to make decisions from your body, right? Like we are taught to be making decisions from our mind. When you move into the decision making process where you have a partner and you have a partner or a friend, have them ask you yes or no questions so that then you can get down to the root of like your yes or no. And then really paying attention to your guttural responses, right? It's like, that's a no. That's a yeah. Or like, oh, yeah. Right. It's like your eyes light up, like you feel like lit up, like you can really feel into this decision making frequency for sure. And it's just like so wild and so fun that you guys get to like literally have access to your body in this way to make decisions because you're going to know in the moment what you want and what you don't want. Okay. And you actually get to have validation through your body's intuitive centers. Right. So it's just very important for you guys to do what you love. And I'm going to be on repeat with this. The more that you can move into the frequency of what you love to do, the more you're going to really love and enjoy your life. And so a few of your natural business superpowers is that your mastery through repetition, your brand is going to keep growing, right? So the more that you can repeat, show up, show up, show up, show up, you're going to get better at it. I mean, that goes for everyone, but specifically for generators, people are going to really, really, you're going to love showing up by the time you're done with something that has felt really hard. You magnetize through your joy. So the more that you can be in joy, in your satisfaction, and share what you're doing with passion, people cannot help but want to be in your energy. And fortunately for you, you have consistent access to it. So you have your sacral defined. We'll go over the centers in a different podcast, but that means you have stamina, you have resilience. So when you love what you do, you're going to be lit the fuck up by the world, right? And if you're feeling like you don't really have energy or you feel burnt out, it's because you're not in the correct career, job, relationship, right? So going back and giving yourself time and space to really feel into like what brings you joy, what brings you satisfaction. And I'm really going to have you write all of this down because the more information that you can get out of yourself, the more information you have to create awareness around the change into the life that you want to create. Okay. And again, the last thing that I will say is that you must wait to respond to your environment. How you know, especially the generator type, you're just going to wait to respond as your strategy. Okay. And you need to do that by, say, you're like on Instagram and you see a post and you're like, oh my God, I felt like, oh, that's a yes. So then look at what it's saying. Like, why is this a yes for you, et cetera, et cetera. But that is like literally your body being like, yes, something's important about this post. And then you want to respond to it, right? But you need to let your body lead you into the response. And then if it's a no, it's like, no. And you like, your body, your stomach starts hurt. My friend always says your stomach starts hurting or you literally clench your body, that's a no. So just being very aware of your body when you are responding to the worlds around you, because the more that you are responding to your yeses, more that life becomes easy flow, those connections, everything start coming for you. Okay. And so that is going to be the general foundational read of a generator. So really, really, really start embodying your design in your business, in your career, in your relationships, because the more that you can show up in your authenticity, that is where the real life and magnetism and gold lives, is right there. So if you want to dive deeper into understanding your unique design in the world, you can book a highly potent human session with me. It is a 60-minute human design reading where we get your highly potent mantra together. You get a Zoom recording, you get an intuitive oracle card read, and then just an hour of me celebrating you and mirroring yourself back to you. We will also dive deep into anything that comes up for you. It's a very collaborative conversation, but how can we use your lived experiences and really ground the energetics of who you are into the real world? So it's a really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful reading. And because I'm the direction of the direction of the Sphinx, anytime you come into contact with me or have a conversation with me, you will be reoriented and redirected on your path. So I look forward to hearing from you, and I can't wait to see what this podcast does for you. If anything comes up, feel free to DM me at It's Sasha Pearl or leave comments on the pod below. Okay. Love you all so much. Bye.